Okay, so first you're going to pull up Roll20, open up your character. Once everything is completely loaded, you'll be able to switch over to your character sheet. And then I make sure that I have all of the correct tabs open for everything. I pull up my favored leveling checklist, go make sure I'm at the general Pathfinder character advancement sheet because it tells me about feats and ability scores at certain levels. My class page, and I'm going to be leveling up JD's character, so Barbarian. And these more detailed tabs we'll get into as I level. So first, the leveling checklist says hit points. I'm going to ignore that because the first thing I always do is check for ability point increases because it changes everything. So I'm going to go into my character advancement. You guys are second level now. You do not get any feats or ability score at this level. Great. Done. Then you go to hit points. JD has a hit dice of D12. He rolled it. He got a 12. Dope. So I'm going to go in and just add 12 to the max hit points. That is a big old 28. In my games, you guys always have the choice of having me re-roll your hit dice if you don't like your roll. So if you roll a 1, you can tell me, I'll re-roll the dice for you, and you have to take whatever I take. If you roll a 1, it'll probably be better than a 1. If you roll middle of the ground, like a 6 or something, and I roll a 4, you still have to take the 4. So if you ever want to have me re-roll, just let me know. Next step is go back to your class page, pull up this table, and just go across. So at second level, base attack bonus goes up to 2. So you go to the configuration tab, the class, base attack bonus 2. Go back and look here. Fort save is 3, reflex is 0, will is 0. So fort is 3, reflex is 0, will is 0. Speed didn't change, nothing like that. Then we go to class features. At second level, he gets his first rage power. Because he has a specific archetype, he doesn't get to choose which rage power at this level, so he has to pick Animal Fury. I'm going to go ahead and just copy paste. Go to additional, features and traits, Animal Fury, rage power, details go right there. Done. And the second class feature that he gets at second level is Uncanny Dodge. You just scroll down to the details for Uncanny Dodge. Oops, copy and paste again. Go ahead and do... There you go. All the details are there. Then we go to skill ranks. You go back to the main page, go to your class page, and right here it says skill ranks, 4 plus int modifier. JD told me what skills he wanted to improve, so we're going to go ahead and put a point into climb. And perception.
And stealth and ride. And survival and acrobatics. And intimidate. And knowledge nature.
That is more skill ranks than usual for Barbarian. We altered his ability scores a little bit, so ignore the fact that that's too many skill ranks for what I just said. But you also need to go to the configuration tab and you get 4 ranks plus your int modifier and then times 1, and it'll update automatically for you. The 1 is what level you are, so make sure you change the level and then it'll go ahead and autofill for you. Technically you should do that before you pick the skill ranks, but I did it a little backwards. But that is how you update skill ranks. Then you pick your favorite class bonus. So everybody gets this. Every time you level in your favorite class, which is the first class that you chose, so Barbarian, you get favorite class bonus, which means you get to pick between an extra skill rank or an extra hit point. JD picked an extra hit point, so you just add that in there. Then you always want to double check. Most of the racial stuff only happens at character creation, but occasionally there are things that happen at leveling. Like in general, humans gain an additional skill rank at first level and one whenever they gain another level. JD picked an alternate racial trait, so that doesn't have anything to do with his particular leveling, but you just want to double check and make sure. Then we go back to the leveling checklist. Got all this. And then you look at feats. You go to your Pathfinder character advancement, second level. You don't get any feats. Great, done. If you were going to add one, you just go to additional and add in your feat, your name, your description. If it's from the core rulebook, you can go over here to the I, type it in. Let's see. Cleave is a pretty common one. And you can just drag and drop. It'll fill it in for you. You guys, I don't believe, have the ability to delete stuff, but I'll delete that later because he doesn't have that. And then you do spells. He doesn't have any spells. I will do that in a separate video. And then the last thing is gear upgrades. He doesn't like his AC. He's getting rid of his hide shirt, and he's getting some dope spike chain. So it's a spike chain shirt. The chain shirt costs 100 gold pieces. The spikes add an additional 50, so that's 150 gold pieces that he's spending to get this. And the AC bonus is 4. The max dex bonus is 4, and the penalty is -2. AC 4, max dex 4, and the check penalty is -2. You can put the spell failure in, but he doesn't do spells, so it doesn't matter. And it is light armor. And we go ahead and delete his old one. And then his AC is updated, 1 higher. Also want to make sure that we add in the details down here. We'll just change this guy. The weight is 25 pounds, and the spikes add 10 pounds, so that's 35 pounds. We'll open up the details and add the information about what spikes do to your armor in here. And this is a special item. It's extra useful for this video because it also doubles as a weapon, so I can show you guys how to add new weapons as well. Spiked armor is a regular melee attack, and they do 1d6 since he's a medium creature. So attack, melee, don't add anything in here. If it's a magical weapon, like a +1 weapon, you'd add a 1, but it's not. The crit range is just 20. If you have a crit range of, say, 18 on a weapon, you just put 18. Don't put 18 through 20. It won't take that. Just put the lowest number that the range is. If there's a range of the weapon, if it's a thrown weapon, you add it in there. Damage, 1d6. If it does your strength, or if you're using a two-handed weapon, if you have weapon finesse and you're using your dex modifier, if you have some weird feat and you end up using your charisma modifier like the bard in my other campaign, it lets you change whatever you want. And again, if it's a magical weapon, you go ahead and add that over here. His critical modifier for spike chain is 2, and the damage is piercing. This is important for me to know because a lot of the monsters that you're going up against have DR against certain types of damage, so I need to know what you're doing to them. If you have a magical weapon that also does, let's say, 1d6 fire damage, it will add all of this together when you click on the name in the chat. The second damage doesn't usually have crit dice. So let's see. Spike chain shirt, 12 to attack, 8 piercing, and 6 fire. He doesn't get any fire damage. It's not magical spiked armor. I just wanted to show you all. And that is the basics of how to level your character in Roll20. I will go ahead and do the spells on one of the other characters and just edit that in to the end of this video. So I went ahead and picked up Ella's character sheet. You go to spells, you go to your class website page, and at second level you get one more Orson and a second first level spell. Go to the Druid sheet. I'm going to go ahead and pick one that I know will be in the core rulebook compendium that Roll20 has. So Ant Hall. You just drag and drop. It takes a second. There it is. Autofills with all the details, everything about it. The compendium is pretty limited. It's only the core rulebook. So if you try to search for something and it doesn't pop up, then you can just go to the list and click on it and copy and paste the information and fill it in yourself. The important information is casting time. Oops. If you start typing too quickly, it will just take it away. The components, VSMDF. Actually, we'll just include what it is too. Unless it has a price next to the component, then you don't have to worry about paying for it when you're in town. It's considered part of your component pouch. The range, touch, and then targets, creature touched, and 2 hours per level. And 2 hours per level. If it has a saving throw, fortitude, you don't have to put the DC in. It'll do it for you. Right there, it'll have it for you. You can check if it has spell resistance or not. This does. And then if it needs an attack, like if it's touch or comes from one of your stats, crit range, multiplier, the type of damage, dice, and type, and it'll roll it for you, and then the details for the description. If it's a really, really complicated one, you could just put the link to the webpage in it. Then when you click on it in the chat, you can just click on the link and it'll bring you to it. It is a little daunting if you have to do that for everything, so I apologize if your stuff is in the compendium, but that is how you add spells to your sheet. You also want to update your per days based on that chart, and make sure that you're including any bonuses that you get from your ability modifier so that you have the correct total per day usage. The DC should autofill. If they look wrong or you have anything like a magical item that changes the DC, then you just add it over here in the DC bonus. And that is how you add spells.